Yeah, I mean, the business is, so we help coaches and consultants that want to find a way to get more clients, but without selling their soul to social media by having to be on there all of the time, which is a pretty competitive market, pretty competitive niche. But yeah, the experience of working with you guys has been, I have to say, it's been absolutely phenomenal. The thing I've been most pleased about is that your process actually, not only does your process work, but it works quickly, which has been really refreshing. I mean, you guys are on hand to answer questions, which is amazing. But I have to say, we haven't needed to ask that many, because if you actually just follow what's in the videos and kind of do what you're told, pretty much for us, it's just worked immediately. So yeah, the process has been great. The support has been great, but we haven't even needed it because the process is so well thought out, you know?
Yeah. I was going to say, you guys have been really fun to work with, but I haven't actually interacted with you and your team a ton, which is, it's good for you guys that things are working on your end, that you don't need us necessarily.
Yeah, we're pretty good. If a process is laid out clearly, like do this, then do this, then do that. To be honest, we're good instruction followers. And I think what you guys have got is really solid instructions, and all like the examples and stuff really helped a lot as well, because watching a lot of them kind of answers a lot of the questions that maybe I would have had and would have asked, but didn't need to, because I watched some examples and I was like, oh, okay, no, I can do it that way then, or whatever. So yeah, it's been pretty simple, to be honest, pretty painless. Nice.
That's great. So if you wouldn't mind, go into a little bit, maybe even prior to working together, what did it look like for you guys to acquire new clients, bring in revenue, and just bring in business in general?
Yeah, so we're really ambitious in that we've been in the coaching industry for a long time, for about 10 years now, but this particular program that we're now selling, we'd only been doing for a year. But we've got very big goals, very ambitious, so we want to grow very quickly. And kind of the frustration constantly was we weren't doing anything on YouTube, didn't really know how, but we were using paid Facebook ads. And the frustration was they worked absolutely phenomenally 1 minute, and then for no apparent reason, they stopped working, which is when you're trying to scale a business, you need predictability, right? You can't have it working 1 minute and not the next. So we were always going to grow the business one way or another, but there was a lot of frustration, I would say, was the main word around, consistently bringing in qualified leads using paid Facebook ads. And also the lack of understanding of, you can't ask Facebook what to do because they're not going to tell you what to do. So it's kind of the guesswork. And that was just kind of making it quite stressful. Yeah. And to be honest, to acquire a new client, I mean, to get a lead, well, what we would call a lead, which for us is someone who's booked a call with us to speak with us, was costing around, I'm just checking my notes, around 145, and that's pounds. So I guess around $200, something like that, sure. Which was fine. And that worked with our numbers absolutely fine. And that was scalable. But the problem was kind of midway through November, all of our ads got shut down. We couldn't get anything approved. We couldn't get any new ads up. And we literally had a 4-week stretch of not being able to advertise through our main lead source, which at the time was Facebook. So that was outrageously stressful, because I've got 5 salespeople who all of a sudden don't have anyone to speak to. So it's not just kind of us we're talking about. It's me trying to keep salespeople happy as well, that have got to, got to make money, they've got to eat. So yeah, it was working, but it was very stressful up until the point we kind of started working with you guys. Really.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure, there's plenty of people out there who can definitely resonate with that. And obviously you kind of made it out of that and have found some solid footing with the YouTube platform, but there's a lot of people that can really resonate with your experience. So hopefully this, them hearing your side of it is, kind of gives hope to the situation outside of Facebook anyway. And so I'll get into the YouTube side of things, because there's some exciting numbers you can share there. But even just getting into, I know you were kind of on the back end, you had your team implementing a lot of the program. But just in your experience, knowing the different things that we were kind of offering and helping you guys with along the way, from the onboarding to the script writing call and the group calls, what of any of that did you kind of get the most out of, or did your team kind of find the most beneficial?
Yeah, the hands down, the script writing call. And I'll tell you why, because I'm a pretty confident person. But if you stick a camera in my face and tell me to make a YouTube ad, I don't know what to say, So to be able to sit down and actually work with a proper copywriter who, we do our bit, we have to, send all the information in beforehand, but to work with a proper copywriter who literally with you just maps the whole thing out, more or less word for word, that was massively helpful, because it meant that there wasn't like a big time lag of procrastination of me going, oh God, but I'm not quite sure what they mean when they say I should do it this way. To have the actual words on an actual piece of paper, that was beyond helpful, because it took out any ability for me to mess it up or put it off or whatever. So that was just phenomenal. I think for me, that's been the most valuable part of all of it. I mean, it's all great, but that has been the most valuable piece. It's just like you guys are just saying, say that. It's like, okay, I'll just say that.
Right.
And that was helpful.
Right. Yeah, that's great. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people who haven't done video before find incredibly helpful, is you have a 45-minute to an hour call, and a copywriting call. He gets the script lined out for you, and then you just go film it after that. So yeah, that's
exactly.
Fantastic.
And you have your input. He's like, oh, I think we should say it this way. Does that fit with, your guys' ethos and values? And if something didn't fit, you could say, well, no, it doesn't. I would never say that. And he'll take that into account and he'll edit things. So yeah, it's great.
That's great. That's great. So jumping more into like the actual YouTube side of things, you get your ads up and running. We see some data start to come in, numbers and everything, and we'll just kind of contrast and compare to Facebook a little bit. But actually in the beginning, you mentioned kind of how quick the entire process was just to get up and going. So maybe just quickly speak to that before getting to any of the numbers.
Yeah, well, I mean, all we really have experience of was paid Facebook ads. We haven't really done a great deal else. And we're just big believers in keep things really simple. If you've got something that's working, just keep using it. But I mean, as I'd said before, the Facebook thing had become a bit unpredictable and what have you. So yeah, the thing that impressed me the most about working with you guys and working with YouTube is, you record this ad and you don't have to wait days and days for it to get approved. You don't have to second guess why it might not have been approved. Just got approved straight away. It went up straight away. It's not the best ad in the world, I'm sure, but it was the first take because we just wanted to get something out there. And what just stunned me was how quickly, I think we had our first call booking certainly within a day. I think it was within something like 4 hours, we had our first call booking. So this isn't someone that's clicked the video. This is someone who's clicked the video, gone to the lead page, opted in for our webinar, watched our entire webinar, and then booked a call. So this is a highly qualified call. This is a kind of a random inquiry. And what is super exciting, that compared to Facebook, that costs us around £145 for a call booking, YouTube is currently costing us just over £60 for a call booking, which, I mean, the maths is the maths. That's less than half. So just having a lead source that's not Facebook is good, because then, it's not all our eggs in one basket anymore. But the fact that it's costing us half as much is just beyond exciting. We've only been running them for a couple of weeks, and we've just had Christmas bang in the middle, which meant you had to turn a few ads off for a while because we just didn't have people that take the call bookings. But I'm really quite stunned by how simple it's been compared to Facebook. But I think even if I hadn't had the experience of that, how simple it's been, how quickly it started working. Yeah, and I think I said to you before, as it stands now, we've spent just under £6,000 and we've made just under 55,000 back in sales so far. I mean, and that's with us not cranking anything up yet. So,
right. And that's over maybe the last month and a half or so?
Yeah, more like the last month. And to be honest, you've got to cut out about 10 days of the last month because it was Christmas and blah, blah, blah. I think in real time, it's probably like 2.5 weeks, something like that. And that's just with us on what is a small test budget. So yeah, it's just, what's exciting is the potential scalability. We're a company. I know there's some people, out there that are very much, they could absolutely use YouTube to get their first few customers. But also for a company like us that's pretty established, but we want to grow, and we like to grow quickly because we're impatient entrepreneurs, the scalability and the speed at which you can scale on YouTube, I hate to keep comparing to Facebook, but I have to, compared to Facebook, where you have to take things really steady, very slow steps when it comes to scaling, or they just shut your account down.
Yeah.
It's just so exciting to have that ability to scale that fast, and make great returns, you know, in the first couple of weeks. Didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, that's really fun to hear. We're super excited for you guys. The last thing that I'll kind of end with that I just recalled you mentioning earlier, again, I'm not trying to compare Facebook and YouTube, but you had mentioned it with just the quality. And maybe just kind of briefly speak to the cancellation rates on Facebook to YouTube, just kind of what you're seeing with the people.
Yeah, we filter hard because we just, you know, we've got a sales team and we like them to only speak to really, really qualified people. So on Facebook, we will we'll cancel out about half of the call bookings that come in, just because then we can see they're not our ideal client from the form that they filled out, you know, and they wouldn't get value from the call, and so on and so forth. Now on YouTube, we're actually canceling a little more, maybe more like 60%, but the ones we do keep from YouTube, my salespeople are fighting over the YouTube leads because they are closing at such a higher rate than the people from Facebook. And again, I'd heard you talk about this because it's a different kind of customer. It's someone that's looking for a solution rather than someone hanging out on Facebook and an ad pops up and interrupts them. But you don't really know until you get there. I mean, and I'll be honest, I don't have the exact stats, but I would be willing to say it's certainly 25% higher close rate, if not more.
Yeah.
But put it this way, my team are fighting over the YouTube call booking. So that's
whatever the percentage is, fists are being thrown. So
yeah, absolutely. And it's just a slightly different conversation. They seem a bit less skeptical, a bit less jaded, and they've kind of already decided they're buying something. And it's just the call is your solution the right fit for them? Whereas from Facebook, sometimes it can be a bit more of a fishing conversation or what have you. I mean, we did well on Facebook, but we're doing really good on YouTube leads.
Yeah. Well, that's really fun to hear, Lucy. It's great to briefly catch up with you. I appreciate you kind of filling us in on where things are at. Best of luck moving forward in 2020 here.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.